Welcome to Midlife Matters. I'm Marie, and each week I'm joined by my friends Julie and Mindy to talk about all the topics keeping women in the middle years up at night. Today we're talking about things to try in 2021. This year will again be more unpredictable than we're used to, but we still have goals and things that we'll be working toward achieving. Join us as we share what's on our list, and then we hope you'll let us know what you're going to be trying in 2021. Hello, listeners. 2021 has started, and it may or may not be living up to your expectations. This January is unlike others we've experienced in many ways, and it looks like 2021 is going to be another unpredictable year. We've gone back and forth on whether to do our yearly episode about what we want to try this year, but a very sweet listener let us know that this is always one of her favorite episodes, and she loves getting ideas for the things she might like to try. So while hang gliding in Switzerland is not on any of our list this year, there are still things we want to do and try. Is that how you feel, Julie and Mindy?
Right. We still have to have things that we're aspiring to do. I mean, we have to, or we'll just die.
That's right. Yeah, definitely have goals this year, but it did make me laugh when I was pondering what my goals would be for this year because it's just so completely different from last year.
I know. And who knows, really, already the first week or two of January has been full of surprises. So we just don't even know. But the things that we're talking about today, we think we'll be able to do because they're not grandiose goals.
Yeah, we've scaled it back quite a bit.
Just a bit. No flying lessons for me this year.
No. So I'm anxious to hear what you guys have on your list because I am inspired by what other people want to try, just like our listener is. So Mindy, why don't you start us off? What do you want to just try this year?
Well, I think one of the biggest things that I have seen, especially here we are, mid to late January, and I saw this meme, and it was something to the effect of your diet just isn't the food that you put in your mouth, it's the things that you read and think about and put in your mind, and it was called the mental diet.
That's good.
And that really made me ponder a lot. And so one of my categories for this year is just my mental diet. And so I'm not going to talk about my body or my food or my exercise, but I have definitely noticed one of my habits I put into practice last year was journaling. And I actually stayed consistent with that. And it has brought so much joy to go back and read my journal entries, even from days ago, and see how the Lord has worked those things out. I've also learned that I need to kind of silence the noise, all the noise around me, social media, news. We've talked about just news intake, things like that. And so I'm really trying to ground myself more in the Word, Bible meditation, journaling, and limiting the exterior noise that affects my mental diet.
That's so good.
That's a great goal.
Yeah, that meme would stick with me if I saw it too, because, half the battle is in our minds. So I really think that what we put in there, what we put in there really contributes to how we feel.
Yeah, and we're told to guard our hearts or our minds, that it's something that we have to protect. So that's a good goal.
Absolutely. And just like with our bodies, our minds, I just think that silly saying garbage in, garbage out. And I really don't want garbage to be coming out. So
That's great. Julie, what's something that you want to try this year?
Well, I guess the first thing I'd like to share is something, a goal for me personally and spiritually. I am doing a chronological Bible reading through an app called the Bible Recap. And when I first heard about this at the end of the last year from a friend who had done it, and I just really quickly dismissed it because I've never liked those Bible reading programs, mainly because for me, it turns into just a checklist like, oh, I've got to do this. And then I'm not really finding any meaning in the reading. It's just to keep up and to do it. And I didn't like reading an Old Testament and a New Testament and a Psalm and a proverb all on one day. So this is chronological. So this is the first time I've ever tried to do it chronologically. And so I'm in today, 13. I am really, really loving it. They give you a reading plan for what you read for the day, and then you go and listen to an app where the lady just kind of summarizes it. And what I really, really love about it is she says, you're not looking for an application for necessarily anything you need to do, or you're not looking for something about you on the page. You're looking for God on every page of the Bible. And I just loved that. So every morning before I start, they kind of lead you through a little devotional prayer. And I'm praying, God, show me any lies I've believed about you or any ways I've misunderstood your character and help me to correct that. And I thought that is what I need this year, because that's kind of what I've been studying this past year. So it's great. And it's about 20 minutes a day. So you can listen to the Bible portion being read aloud if you want.
Right.
So my husband's doing it. He's doing it in the car. I like the fact that everyone that's doing this is on the same scripture, and you can talk about it with people. And you see it there's a Bible recap Instagram. So you see people are sharing their God shots. She calls it the God shot, like where you saw God that day in the reading.
So I have a question, because I totally love this, and it would go so hand in hand. Last year I listened to the Bible chronologically. It was so easy with the Bible app to put it, to do that listening plan. And just while I was getting ready in the morning, it was very easy. But doing something like this, but I already feel late to the game. Is this something that you can join? It is the 13th of January. Like, could somebody come in on this late and still get a lot of benefit? Like, yes. I'm like, did I miss the whole year? Or
no, my son's doing it, and he's just going to catch up by listening to 3 or 4 days at a time. Yeah. But she said, say you wanted to start this in July, you can just go into your settings in the app and hit sequential. So then you're not going by the date, you're just going by the order. Like, she numbers every episode. The first one is 001. So you could just go by the episode number and not the date.
This was also on my list to talk about. And I'm doing it through the Bible Recap podcast, Julie. I'm not doing it on the Bible app, but I think you can do it either way. Is that what you're talking about, that you're doing it through the Bible app?
Well, no, I'm doing it through the Bible Recap podcast, but my reading is through the YouVersion Bible.
Okay.
Like her plan is in that app.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I had asked for this Bible for Christmas. I had talked about it in Things We Want, and it is a Bible that has space to journal. And so I have been reading, writing my notes. Then I listen to her podcast, which is maybe 7 or 8 minutes long. And then I just kind of write some of the notes that she has in the margin. So if you want to do it a variety of ways, you really can. And Mindy, I actually started this in December because I kind of wanted to give myself some buffer. I already know that I will never do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and never miss a day. It's just not going to happen. So I actually finished day 30 today. So I'm a month into it. But obviously I've missed some if it's the middle of January and I started in December, but so I already know that I have a little bit of a buffer, and you can be behind, or none of them say January 10th. It's all
the order.
Yes. It's just whatever day it was, day 1, 2. So you can start at any time. Yeah.
Okay.
Right. And I want y'all to hold me accountable, because I really, I'm mentioning this as something I want to try. I already am trying it, but I want to finish it. That is my goal, is to finish it, because I've started these things several times.
Okay.
But this is the first one where I feel like this is going to happen. So
it's a good fit. All right.
So if you're looking for the podcast, it's called The Bible Recap with Tara Lee Cobble. And you can start anywhere in there. She has year 1, year 2, and now she's going through year 3, but they're pretty much all the same. So go ahead and look up that on your Apple Podcasts or the podcast app that you use. One of the things that I want to try this year is, I saw a meme that has not been able to get out of my mind, Mindy, and it was, getting rid of memorabilia is not the same as getting rid of memories. And that just really hit me, because I have 5 kids, and there are so many things that I've kept, even though if you know me, I have been diligent with a garbage can outside my van to throw the junk in. I do not oversave, I don't feel like, but I still feel like there's stuff just hiding in every closet and under every bed. And, just, it needs to be gone through. I need to go through it.
Right.
And, you feel guilty getting rid of some of this stuff, but getting rid of memorabilia is not the same as getting rid of memories.
I love that.
Even just this week, I found all these elementary school yearbooks of my kids. Okay, no one is in elementary school. What do you do with elementary school yearbooks? So I opened them up and, their names are in there. And I really think the only one they need to save is like their 5th grade one, because that's the last one of elementary school. They're actually old enough to sign each other's yearbooks. There's a little shout out to each 5th grader in there. And then if you don't want the rest, you can get rid of them. But I took those over to my married daughter and I said, these are yours. I said, I think you should at least save the 5th grade yearbook, but you do what you want. Because now that's her memory.
Yeah, it's easier to let someone else throw it away for sure.
Yeah.
I've always had pain over spending the money on those yearbooks. I'm like, I have been guilted into purchasing them, knowing full well they will never look at them. And I'm like, why are we buying these things in the 3rd grade and 4th grade?
Yeah.
I know. So there's just a lot of that stuff. The yearbook is just an example. It's just, and
Right.
you think you're honing it down over the years. I've done the whole, they each get one box, but it's still, the stuff piles up. So I'm trying to
But
go
I
through
think
that
that's a
stuff.
good way, that you did hone it down every year, and then you aren't going through a massive amount, and it's easier to let go after you've held on to it for 10 years. Because I just did the same thing with homeschool stuff. I found stuff from kindergarten from David, that for a while I had to save. But I thought, I don't have to save this. It was hard to look at it and throw it away, but I thought, we don't need this.
Right.
In the same breath,
It's taking up a whole closet.
there is an item of Grant's, and he will never listen to this, but if he ever did, he would know what I was talking about. We got rid of an item of his that was very special to him when he was young in an effort to help him grow up. And I still feel guilt over this thing. I have to tell myself, I do love my child. I did get rid of that, but I do love my child. Like, it does not mean I love him less. And so
Right.
when I think about this item, I feel guilty, but then there's other things. It's like, why in the world is that still, here?
Right. Right. So anyways, listeners, if you need to hear that, because I think in January we are all going through our closets or under our beds in all those hidden nooks and crannies. And if you need to hear that it's okay to let some of this stuff go, I'm telling you it's okay. All right, Mindy, it's your turn. What else are you going to try?
Another thing that I have been actually making a list of is I mentioned that when we moved back to Tennessee, we were renting a house. And so I do know that this year at some point, we will be purchasing a home. And so in the back of my mind, every time I see something in my kitchen or in my house that's not working, I'm like, okay, that's going on the list to do when we purchase the house, but I'm waiting till we get there. And so I almost feel like Bryce and I are entering a new season because our oldest is going to get married, and I'll talk about that later. But I feel like we're just in this new season, almost like a fresh start, looking at things with fresh eyes. And so I've got this whole list of kitchen supplies, utensils, dishes, towels, kitchen, glasses that we use, gadgets. And I'm just waiting. I've got a running list that I'm waiting to replace and refurbish my home and my kitchen for this kind of new season in life.
Yeah. And you're only going to have 4 people living there, so you can have new flexibility.
That is right. If I want to change my style, I'm changing my style. If I want something yellow, I'm getting yellow. I'm just like, it's time for a new day. So who knows? Maybe I'll throw us a wedding shower for our 24th anniversary this year and say, hey.
I was going to say, once Abby starts having showers, you will be jealous of all her new, clean, crisp things.
That's a good word, Julie. I'll wait till after that.
I went and replaced a lot of things when my oldest got married because I thought, man, if she can have all new towels, so can I. I don't have to use towels that are, or she can have new this. It's like, I can have that. I don't know why we think that we have to wait till ours has literally disintegrated.
Holes in the towels and cracks in every glass and plate and like the silverware that's been in the garbage disposal.
Right.
I mean,
yes. Yes. Well, good for you, Mindy. I would love to have you just name the list of things that you are starting over with and what you chose. That could be an episode right there.
Yes. I mean, I'm going to start selling furniture here soon. Bryce and I have we're going to get rid of both of our refrigerators and it's time for a new one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just everything is under our very critical eye. If it's not working for us, it's going out the door.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I don't know if everyone has this, but I feel like I have a super critical eye towards my house in January every year. It's like, all right, my attention is turning to you now, and you better get spruced up here, house.
You better get your act together. You're going in timeout.
And this year, even more so than ever, just because we're home so much.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, Julie, what else are you going to be trying?
All right. I love a good do-it-yourself project. So I want a DIY project for my front windows. Right now, I just have wooden blinds that I've had for 20 plus years.
Mm-hmm.
And I think last year one of the things I wanted to try was to get rid of those. Well, that didn't go over so well with a certain person in the family.
Uh-oh.
So, it was like, why would we get rid of perfectly good wooden blinds?
Yeah.
They've been there for 20 years. They're serving us well. So I kind of scrapped that idea. Well, now I'm back on it. So I've got them raised all the way up to let all the light in, just to see if we like it.
Mm-hmm.
And we do. So I really want some window treatments there. But, that a window treatment can really kind of make or break your room. And it can also make or break your bank.
Right.
So I got on Pinterest, and there are hundreds of pins for no-sew, do-it-yourself pinch pleat curtains made from IKEA curtains.
Oh.
Had no idea.
Yeah.
And so I got really excited about this because I love pinch pleat curtains. They're kind of coming back around again, and they just have a really upscale, high-end look over like a grommet or a tab top. But I didn't want to sew them, and I didn't want to spend a lot of money. So IKEA sells these curtains. They probably have 10 different ones that have this fabric tape that's on the back with all these little pockets. And then you buy these pins that you slide up through the pockets. And the way you position the pins, it creates either folds or pleats, whatever you want. Mm-hmm. And then you just hang them on rings on your rod. And when I was reading about them, one of the things about the IKEA curtains that everybody loved so much was the price. Mm-hmm. I mean, they can vary from $24 a pair up to maybe $60, which is really cheap if you're considering custom curtains. And that they come in long lengths. If you go to Target or places like that, you're not going to find the long lengths. Well, all of the IKEA curtains start at 98 inches. So I could hang that right under my crown mold and they would touch the floor.
Right.
And I have a 9-foot ceiling, or 10 foot. So that's a great value.
Yeah. Well,
That
I
is
would love
so
to see
cool,
a picture
Julie.
of your finished product, Julie.
Yeah, I'm excited about it.
Yeah, I have two thoughts for you, Julie. What if the blinds accidentally got damaged? Right? So that was my first thought.
The dog went crazy and attacked them.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. So that was the first thought I had. But I have done a lot of curtains since I've moved so much. And my favorite curtain sites for the longer curtains, and you can find them lined and everything for a really good price, is Wayfair. And World Market used to be my go-to, but they've really limited their curtain selection in recent years. But Wayfair has had a really great selection and links and prices and everything.
Yeah. Okay. I did look at other places, like
IKEA,
Pottery
you can't beat
Barn.
but
But that was still going to spend $400 a window. It's like, okay, I know they would look beautiful, but I just don't want to do that because I don't know how long I'm going to keep them up there.
Right.
Look at the Pottery Barn site for my inspiration, and then I go find something similar somewhere else. But I will tell you, Target.com has longer links that they don't carry in the stores.
Well, I consulted our designer friend Tiana on this, and she suggested all natural fabric. Like, don't get anything with a blend. Like, go for all cotton or all linen. And that was the other thing, is the IKEA curtains were all cotton or all linen. So,
okay. Well, we definitely want to see what you end up with there.
All right.
All right. Well, something I'm going to try this year, and I really need to be held accountable, but I have got to get off Facebook. I would not. I think the pandemic has just ruined me. Like, it's a distraction, but then it's also an anxiety producing nuisance in my life. It's a way to kill time because you're home a lot, but then I waste a bunch of time. It's a way to maybe see some funny memes, but then it's also a way to depress myself. Like, it's just not good. And I have been really looking at what kind of apps can you install to, like, I know someone could say, just delete the Facebook app, but I do like Marketplace. I do like some groups that I'm in. Like, I joined some back to school groups, like getting our kids back in school. And I joined some other groups that I enjoy seeing what people post, or maybe it's information that I wouldn't otherwise know. So I don't want to just deactivate, but I need to find some kind of balance. So one of the things I'm going to do is print off my Facebook feed with a site called My Social Book. And I did this 5 years ago. I printed off 5 years worth of Facebook. And it's probably about a 1.5 inch book. And it's kind of like a photo album. And it has all your comments. You can put comments or not. You don't have to include the comments. It has all your pictures. It just doesn't have your video. And it even has a QR code that you can point your phone at and play the video, which is kind of funny. You don't know how long those QR codes, they might go the way of floppy disks. Like, nobody even knows what one is in 10 years. But right now they do have those. And so I want to get that printed off. It'll be about 5 years, another 5 years worth in there, because that's one of my reluctant things about getting off Facebook is I think, oh, but I have a lot of memories. But if I have them saved somewhere else, it doesn't have as big of a pull for me. So I want to do that. Also, I looked into all these apps that you can use that kind of prompt you to get off your phone.
Okay.
So there are a ton of apps
to get off your phone.
There are a ton of apps. Like this one that I downloaded last night is called Space. And basically, it prompts you after you've been on your phone about 10 minutes. It'll send you a text message. Hey, Marie, do you want to get off and join the real world? It's just a prompt that, oh, hey, this amount of time has gone by. There are a ton of apps out there, guys. I mean, you can find articles that are like 11 best apps to help you break social media addiction or whatever. But I really need to back it off.
I'm right there with you, Marie. I did
too.
that. I did that back in probably November. I started it, and then now I've been off of Facebook and Instagram for a while. I will check our podcast post, and I love to do stories because to me it's kind of a creative outlet.
Yes.
But I don't really post much anymore, and it has helped a lot to be off Facebook now. And because I know how good it feels to be off, I can now get on and look at Marketplace without looking at the social part because I wouldn't want to give up Marketplace.
Right. Well, there's hope for us then, Julie. I'm glad to hear that because that was part of my mental health diet was the socials that consume too much time, cause me to feel awful when I get off, and I've wasted. I should have been doing something else.
Yeah. And I don't think I have, but I have consciously tried to not post anything at all in 2020 or 2021, I mean, because again, I don't want that pull. So I want to print out to 2020 and then maybe think about like, I don't know. There's these different things where you can like unfollow, and when I say unfollow, it's basically mute everyone in your newsfeed. So your newsfeed is basically nothing, and then you just can go to Marketplace, or you could just look up a certain group. Or I need something because that feed just never ends, and
it's true.
I get caught up in so and so posted about this story. It's not even, it's that I get on all these tangents, all these or I get lost in reading comments about something that I can't even do anything about this issue. I cannot do anything about these issues.
Yeah, it just stirs things up.
It does. And I've had to tell myself, I don't know if you guys feel this guilt or not, but again, it's mom guilt. I'm like, I still love my child if I don't post a happy birthday post with all of their pictures ranging in age from birth to now. Right. I love them. even though I didn't do a social media post, or, you know, I love my husband, even though I don't do a social media post, because there is pressure.
There definitely is. And I don't feel that way about Instagram. I don't like Instagram that much. I mean, I get on it, but I don't feel the need to even check it multiple times a day. I don't know. There's something about Facebook that has more things for me to look at or more tangents for me to go off on.
You enjoy reading and actually learning information and see, whereas I oppose like Instagram because it's just pictures and there's less reading. I'm like, I don't want to hear what you think. I just want to look at your pretty pictures.
Yeah, I like Instagram better because I can look at interiors of all these homes and nothing is political or social or mean. It's all nice and beautiful. And
yeah, so I don't know. I need something though. And I know that it's gotten exponentially worse since we've been home. Just exponentially. So
very noisy, very noisy out there.
Yes. All right, Mindy, tell us something else that you're going to be trying.
Okay. Well, this next category is family and friends. And so when I thought about, you know, all the places that I wanted to travel last year and all the day trips and the long trips, I was like, well, this year is different. But again, it's a simplistic idea, but also profound. And then I just really want to better my family relationships and better my friend relationships. And so it's reinvesting in the people that are already in my life while leaving room for new relationships to form. So not getting tired of, you know, a long road trip. If I haven't seen a certain family member in a while, maybe it's time to hop in the car and go there. Making stops along the way to see friends and reconnect. So it's all about reconnecting, but also, again, leaving room for those new relationships.
Right.
Yeah. It's a year for the road trips for sure.
Julie, we would love to go out west. Like, I was really inspired by your Western travels. We'd love to see the Grand Canyon and Arizona and, you know, things like that. And I don't know that this is the year for that yet, though, but it's marinating still in the back of our minds.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Julie, what else are you going to be trying?
Well, along the lines with what Mindy just said, mine involved reconnecting. And it's funny because I have two friends that I haven't kept up with really at all. They are not on Facebook. I've looked for them on Facebook, you know, like what's happening with them? And I just don't know anything about their life. And one of them was my best friend in pharmacy school. So I really haven't seen her in 20 years. It's funny because she used to send out Christmas cards. So I know that she has 3 girls. That's all I know. And one night, John and I were talking with this other couple who happened to be from her hometown, and her name came up. And one thing led to another, and we ended up, he ended up taking my contact information to give to my friend, and then he gave me hers. And then she called me, and we started talking and texting, and it was just like we were back in pharmacy school. She seemed no different, same old Ann. And so this is the year we are getting back together in person. She lives in Dallas, so that's an easy, like 1.5 hour flight to her house. Of course, we'll have to work out pandemic, arrangements, but I am going to get back together with her in person. And it's funny because she said, I sent her Christmas cards for the last 21 years to the same address. And it's very unusual these days that someone would live at the same address from, like their first house on. But I just kept sending them because I never got, they never got returned or anything. Right. And when she texted me, she said, I have loved every one of your Christmas cards. I've seen your whole family grow up.
Oh, neat.
She said, but I just don't send out Christmas cards.
Right.
So if you've been sending out cards and not heard from somebody, don't assume that they're not enjoying them or keeping up with you. But so I'm excited about that. And then another friend in Memphis, we've decided we are getting together this year in person.
Oh, that's great.
Yes.
Yeah. And we are going to get together with Mindy. Listeners, we tried to get together with Mindy this fall. And I think my family got COVID. And then very shortly after her family got COVID. And it just seemed like it never worked out. But yes, Mindy, you are not that far away anymore. And it's just inexcusable. that we
This
have
is
not
the
gotten
year
together.
of Mindy, Julie, and Marie together again.
Yes.
Like in person.
Yeah.
It needs to happen.
This spring,
Yes.
it will be 2 years since we've seen you in person, which I think is terrible.
You know?
Yeah, let's work on February, Mindy. February.
Okay. Excellent. I'm there.
All right. Well, something else I want to figure out is our upstairs flooring. You guys, we have 25-year-old carpeting upstairs. When we moved in, it was already 9 years old, and I was about to have my 4th and 5th child. And so any thought of redoing it then was like, why would I? I'm going to have little kids for a very long time. Well, now fast forward 16 years, and it's had its share of wear. I would totally recommend whatever kind of carpet that was, because even for 25 years old, it doesn't look just atrocious, but it's showing its age. And I would just really like to replace my upstairs flooring. I was thinking of waiting till all my kids went to college, but then I thought, other people do disruptive home projects all the time and they survive them.
Right. It might not be as disruptive as you think. They work quicker, if you're not doing it yourself. And they can usually move everything to one side of the room, and you'll be glad you did it.
Yeah, I think so. But I do want to figure that out. It's time. It's time.
That's how our conversations go, Marie, when we start to think about what kind of house do we want to buy next? Or like, do we want to fix her upper, or do we want to buy a brand new house? And we're like, something that doesn't need anything.
Right. Well, what else are you trying, Mindy?
The big event of our year is Abby's wedding. So she is getting married the end of May. And so our year, this is just a major season for her, for us. And so the planning, the preparation, we just really want to be intentional that this is a peaceful process, that we have good relationships through the process. Any of you who have planned weddings maybe understand where all of the emotions can come in and hit you out of nowhere. And so, again, that's where my mental diet comes in. Just, our roles are changing. Bryce and my roles are changing in Abby's life, and her role is changing. We want to be able to do that well, helping set her up for a good, healthy marriage with Joey. And so there's just a lot there.
Mm-hmm. That's going to take up 75 or 80% of your mental space from now until May. And then it'll be a month of emotional recovery in June. So you can just count on a whole half a year there, Mindy.
Oh, thanks. I'll just block my calendar now.
I remember after Molly's wedding, I thought, I have literally gotten up and thought about this wedding every single day since we knew she was engaged. You just can't help it. There's always something to think about.
Yeah. And as much as I want to feel like everything's covered, there's always this thought in the back of my mind. Are we missing something? Should we be doing something?
Yeah. Well, and you have the added thought process of, I could make all these plans and then May could look just like January. Or, you have the whole pandemic restrictions and all that to, again, mess with your mental space, Mindy.
Ironically, I'm very thankful we're on this side of the pandemic. So we have watched and learned with what happened in 2020 with the couples that were getting married. So we really are trying to have a very flexible wedding plan. And thankfully, Abby Ray, she does not have any over the top crazy ideas about what she wants. She is very simple. She wants it to be peaceful. And she's a little more of a casual person. And so I think that's probably great because
that fits right in with this year.
Gonna have to go with how that is planned. Yes.
Yeah. It's also very fun. I will say, I did think about it every day, but I did enjoy all of it. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I want to enjoy it. That's the thing, is I do want to enjoy every moment. So
yeah. And you don't have such a long time. It's a long enough time to enjoy it, but it's not hanging over your head for a year or something.
Exactly. Yeah. We're all about the short engagement. So they will have had 5 months. And I'm like, that works for me.
All right, Julie, what else are you trying?
All right, this is something kind of small, but I kind of want to tweak my meal planning a little. So just like we've incorporated Friday night pizza night, I want to add to that and maybe do Monday meatloaf or Wednesday spaghetti or something. Nothing rigid or overly complex, but just have a little more of a framework with some steady things.
Right.
And then that would free me up to be more adventurous on the other nights. Like, oh, okay, tonight I'll try a new recipe because I know tomorrow night we're going back to a no-brainer kind of thing, something I don't have to think about. Because for some weird reason, I am enjoying cooking a little more right now. I don't know why, or trying something new. But
yeah,
I would like to have a few things that I just know are always going to be there.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Like that. Yeah, me too. Especially, I think that sometimes routine brings comfort in the midst of chaos. And so even knowing, like, I don't know, I could see that being like a comfort food, having those in a routine way each week to kind of stabilize the week with whatever else happens to be going on.
Right.
I definitely think that helps with decision fatigue, and trying to plan meals is mentally exhausting for me.
Yes.
I don't know about you, but like as I have more kids leave, I've had to relearn how to cook because I'm used to making for a big group of people. And I'm like, how do I cook for, should I even cook? Is it worth the effort to even cook for 4 people? I'm like, yes.
People cook for 4 people all the time.
I know. I'm like in my mind.
Yeah. All right. Well, another thing I'm going to try this year is, and this goes along with my reducing screen time. And I know that people don't count Kindles and things like that as screen time. But 1, I don't own a Kindle and I don't want to have to buy something else. And 2, I really feel like I need this in my life. I'm going to try to read an actual book once a month or so. And I'm putting or so. Because I have really gotten out of the habit of reading actual books. Like if the library doesn't have it in the ebook form, then I don't even get it a lot of times. Like I think, I like the ebooks because they're always on my phone. If I'm waiting somewhere and I want to read, my book is right with me. And I have the bigger phone, so the screen is not like super small. But it's also very distracting to read on your phone. Like you're very tempted at a little lull in the story. Oh, let me check Facebook. Let me check my email. Oh, someone texted me. Like you just don't pay attention the way you would if you were reading a real book, I think. I mean, maybe I'm looking back on reading real books with nostalgia, but I do think I need that skill in my life. So not all my books, but I'm going to aim for once a month or so. And so this morning I was reading my email and there was a Goodreads email from I don't know, it might have been from last week. And it said, what are the books people are most looking forward to this year? So I went ahead and put my name on hold at the library for these actual books. I could have done the ebook, but I chose the actual book. So I know that some will for sure be coming my way.
I guess you'll have to put your phone away, though, because you can still hear those dings, when you're reading a real book.
Yes, I would have to.
I was going to say, Marie, I find it ironic because I mentioned journaling earlier. Well, I noticed that my handwriting, I was thinking when I started journaling, I haven't handwritten things this much since I was in school. And I was like, my handwriting is atrocious. And so even the muscles in my hand to be able to write, and you're talking about reading like a real book. And I'm like, seriously, the saying is true. Everything we needed to learn, we learned in kindergarten. Because here we are back to reading and writing.
Yes. All right, Mindy, let's all do one more. What are you going to try out this year in 2021?
One of my goals this year is to work on my indoor plants and my outdoor plants.
And you love gardening too.
I do. I cannot wait to do it again. And so I actually have planned for this in the year of 2020 I mentioned before that I had bought these Costco planters that were large and they had all these variety of plants in it because my goal was I could, once the plants died out for the season, I could save the planters and then repot my indoor plants. So I have those planters saved in my garage. And that is one of my to-dos this year is to plant in these big pots in my home. I love indoor plants. I want to get some more. I want to get some different varieties, see what works. I've bought them before, some that don't like my house. And I'm like, well, then you're out of here. But also outdoor plants. I love being outside, cultivating the ground, trees, shrubs, perennials, annuals, all of it.
That's great.
Yes.
And I'd love to see some pictures of those because I get inspired by what other people do. That makes me want to go out to Lowe's and plant something new in my yard.
Yes.
All right, Julie, what's your last thing that you're going to be trying in 2021?
Well, it's not the last thing I'm going to be trying in 2021, but it's the last thing I'm going to talk about here.
Okay.
Mindy, we're just tracking together on this because my
Oh.
next thing was about plants. I have a raised bed garden that I bought at Costco. I think it's 2 years ago now.
Mhm.
And I had a great garden that year. And then 2020, it's a disaster. The garden was just full of weeds. I never planted it. And I've just felt so guilty because that dirt cost a lot of money. The garden, took effort to build and it
Right.
just sat there. So this year, I am going to try to do flowers instead of vegetables so that I can have cut
Oh.
flowers in my house.
Oh, I love that.
All these Instagram sites I look at on home decor, they always have fresh flowers in their house. Not that I couldn't go to the store and buy them, but I just thought it would be kind of cool to have a cutting garden with flowers that different colors and maybe bloom at different phases of the year to bring in the house.
Yeah, I think that's really neat.
And it sounds much easier than vegetable gardening.
Yes. And I feel like there'd just be less weeds and less room for disappointment. Like, oh, my tomatoes
Yeah.
never really produced much this year. Or, oh, my
Right.
zucchini, I only got 2 and I put in all that work. Where flowers, you're pretty much guaranteed a
Yeah.
harvest.
Right.
Well, that's what I hope.
I love that, especially for the indoor flowers, because who doesn't love a little vase of fresh flowers? No matter how big the bouquet is, it brings such joy, even to have
Yeah.
one bloom and one tiny vase.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, well, my last thing that I'm going to be trying, but like you, I'll probably try other things, but I had to stretch my mind to even think of things I'm going to be able to try in 2021. But I noticed that I have gotten away from doing any kind of crafting or art or anything with my hands, and I really miss it.
Mm-hmm.
I just, again, I feel like screens and technology have kind of taken that place. And so I want to intentionally pick something creative up for fun. And it don't have to be the best at it, but just to be using that part of my brain and be doing or making or doing something with my hands. So I don't know what that will be. I had painted for a while, oil paintings and things. And the last few years, whenever anybody asked me, have you painted anything lately? I'd be like, nah, I'm done with that. Don't feel like doing that anymore.
Right.
But now this week, I saw this piece of art and I thought, I could paint that myself. So, even if I just want to paint something, put it on my own wall, but I don't know. Plus, I kind of miss the fun of just having that to look forward to. So I don't know what hand thing I'm going to do, what kind of handcraft, but I know that there are things out there that I should probably look at doing.
Yeah, that sounds like fun. And you're so talented. You need to be, I think you should start painting again.
Yes.
And creative outlets are a good escape for me. And instead of doing creative outlets, I've been on my phone doing things that I think are making me feel better or escaping, and I'm not. You can tell I've really had like a moment of conviction this week. It's like, all right, people need to know this, Marie, so that they'll hold you accountable.
Well, you're not alone, Marie. And it's neat to hear each of our lists now, because think about how simple and around the house, all of the things that we're talking about. It's the inner work. It's the stuff we can essentially control, maybe, in our own lives. And so these are things that are completely possible.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. None of these things are impossible.
Right. Well, good. All right, listeners, we want to hear what you want to be doing in 2021, even if it is the smallest thing. Julie's daughter shared that she would like to wear earrings more this year. I think that's a great goal. Like, so many of us haven't been wearing any jewelry during 2020. And if she wears earrings a few weeks and doesn't like it, at least she tried it. These are only things that we want to try. So we would love to hear what you want to try. Contact us on Instagram at Midlife Matters Podcast or email us at midlifematterspodcast@gmail.com. All right, listeners, it's time to move into I'm a Fan. Mindy, what are you a fan of this week?
This week, I would love to spotlight my workout socks that I have used actually for probably 5 years. And I'm really particular about them because they are by features and you pay a little bit more per pair, but I actually really like baby my workout socks. I only wear them to work out. When I come home, I take them off.
Really?
I wash them. I do not dry them. I just love them so much. So I actually baby my workout socks, but they have a little compression in the middle. They don't slide down my heel when I'm walking long distances. Because a lot of times it's those long distance walks. You've got to have the right socks and shoes or you can't go a long distance. So these socks have been part of my wardrobe for at least 5 years. And I will continue to purchase one pair at a time and baby them.
I definitely want to get the link for those, Mindy, because I have some socks that have been annoying me to death. And it's like while I'm on my walk, I think the moment I walk in the door, I am throwing these socks away. And then, of course, I forget. And they make it through the wash and I end up wearing them again. I'm like, I thought I was going to throw those away.
It makes a huge difference. Just like the bra pads, that has saved all my bras buying those. I will happily send you the link for these features socks.
Because I tend to buy nice socks for dressy socks, but I tend to just buy the bag of cheap ones for my workout, like at Target. So I need to invest in nicer ones.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll put links to that in our show notes. Julie, what are you a fan of this week?
Something that I got people in my family for Christmas. I did not get them. So I cannot say personally, but I'm a fan because my kids all liked them. And I've gotten reports back on the Raycon Earbuds, the Everyday E25, and they start at $79.99. They come in 5 colors. They come in their own case, and you charge them in the case. And my daughter said she was cooking dinner, listening to a podcast, and forgot she even had them in her ears. My son said they have great sound. And I got my husband a pair, and he likes them as well. So I think that's a good glowing report. And they are so much cheaper than the Apple.
Yeah. And in 2021 Trends, the episode we did a couple weeks ago, I said that I read that wireless earbuds are going to be everywhere this year. And so this would be a great option if you don't have a pair. We'll link to those in our show notes, and you can get the ones that Julie's recommending. All right, I'm going to recommend something very small in this episode, but I was at Costco and I was getting my tires rotated. And I think that they take an hour and a half just so that you will be held hostage and have to walk around the store. So I walked up and down every aisle. I could tell you what they're carrying right now. But one of the things I found in my walks around Costco was this yogurt, and I had never seen it before. It's called Too Good, and it is a Greek yogurt, and Too Good is TWO. 2 grams of sugar, it says 80 calories, 12 grams of protein, 3 carbs, and 0 added sugar. So I thought, well, they're having one of those like instant rebates on the package. So I thought, well, I'll try it. It comes with vanilla and strawberry in the package. I don't remember how many I got in there, probably at least 10. But definitely if it's still on instant rebate when I go back, I'll buy it again. I think the taste is good, especially since I put fruit and granola in my yogurt. So anyways, I did look up on the Walmart website and the Kroger website. It's at regular grocery stores too. If you're looking for a new yogurt to try, sometimes I just want a different taste.
Right.
Is it Greek yogurt?
It is Greek yogurt. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that kind. Yeah.
So listeners, there are a lot of things that you can try in 2021. They can be small or they can be big, but we'd love to hear what you're learning about or doing. Mindy and Julie, it was so great to hear about what you guys are going to be doing. Let's hold each other accountable.
Let's do it. And I can't wait to see you guys in person.
Yes. Let's hold each other accountable for seeing each other in person. All right. Well, we'll talk to you next week.
All right. Goodbye.
Bye, girls.
We're so happy you joined us today. You can find the show notes for this episode at midlifematterspodcast.com. Also, please tell a friend about the show and help them hit the free subscribe button on their favorite podcast app. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at Midlife Matters Podcast. That's where we post pictures and stories about all the things we talk about in each episode. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.